to the welcome again to the LionTech Linux webinar. So my name is Prof. Prince, and I'm going to be leading you today, making sure that you can learn a few things. Before we do that, if you are on your computer, I want us to start by looking at something because you see, this is where I want us to start, right? I want us to start with this, okay? With this. So let's see. So now, if you look at your system, okay, because this is very, very important for you to understand. If you look at your laptop, okay, be it your Mac computer or your what? If you look at your laptop, okay, your system is what? So this is my system, just like many of you, right? You have what? So on your system here, what do you see? You see that everything on your system, what? It's all about files and folders, right? Files and folders. So this we refer to as the graphical user interface, right? So for example, if I want to open the download folder, right, I am going to what? Double click, isn't it? Or I can right click here, then what? I can select open and several other actions that can be performed what on each folder. See that? So of course what we can open this folder, we can open a new tab, we can copy, we can paste, we can rename, and of course what we can delete. Now all of what? All of this is manual operation, right? With our mouse. So of course, what now with our mouse, we are able to do all of these things using what? Using the graphical user interface. So there are two things that as a beginner, I want you to what? To go home with today. Okay. Yep, my Microsoft Word is now open. Okay. And I'm just going to title this document. Okay, Linux what? Linux webinar. Okay, perfect. And let's just say we are getting started. Okay. So now, if you look at this, right? So we have what? So our system is what? It's made up of files, okay? Files and directories. That's why, okay, every application today that you interface with is all what? Is all files. As a matter of fact, our lives is all what? Is all based on files. That's the honest truth about it, right? That's the honest truth. So now, you what? If you open this folder, okay, see that we can what? We can open, we can rename, we can delete, and what? And we can cut. So this what? This interface is referred to as the graphical user interface, right? So what? The first thing I want you to learn is, of course, what? How you interface with your operating system. Okay? So let's come back here because as a beginner, right? I don't want you to get scared just yet. Therefore, what? Let's start with some common what? Common terminologies. Okay? Common words. Common, okay? Terminologies, okay? For what? For systems. Okay? Of course, what? We start with how do we, okay, operate. One second. Okay. How do we interface with what? With operating systems, right? So as a beginner, first what? We have what? What we call the GUI, okay? GUI for what? Graphical user what? Interface, okay? Everything front end. So when you visit maybe a bank's website and you are interfacing on the website, everything, of course, what? You are in the front end, interfacing with the user interface and all of that. Of course, what? That is a graphical user interface. Now, one of the skills you are going to learn that what? Comes across, okay? DevOps cybersecurity, and cloud computing is what we refer to as the what? The command, okay, line interface, okay? The what? So we have two types of interfaces that you need to master. You have already mastered the graphical user interface, okay? One of the skills that you need to learn as anybody dreaming to pick up a career or start a career or grow a career or upskill in tech, okay, is what? Is a command line interface. This is foundational. The what? So the CLI, the what? Is what? Is foundational to what? To major tech what? Tech career paths. So you think of, DevOps, okay, cybersecurity, okay, cloud computing, and of course what? Data analytics. No, I think not those ones, okay? But of course what? See that? Cypher, can you stop the annotation? Thank you so much. So, of course what? If you look at here, right? So, say for example, you want to what? So let's say you want to, you want to what? Carry out what? Vulnerability assessment on a system is what? Is all command line. If you want to carry out what? Ethical hacking, okay, it's all what? It's all command line. If you want to use something like Metasploit, right? So Metasploit is what? Metasploit is used to, is used to diagnose and detect, vulnerabilities on the system. Okay, it's all what? It's all going to be command lines. See that? So therefore what? So therefore that becomes the first skill that you want to learn. And so when you are working on command lines, okay, there are so many actions. The same way you want to create a file when you are working on your graphical user interface, right? You also want to what? You also need to learn how to create files when what? Working on command line interface. The same way you manage users. Okay, you can what? I hope you guys know that on your Windows computer, you can what? You can add users, right? You can add so many users onto your system, okay, manually. We can also what? We can also do that, okay, using what? Using the command line interface. Do we understand that? Okay, I want to stop something here. Annotation. I don't want people on my screen, okay? So please, if you can stop the annotation, it's going to help me to remain focused because when you draw these lines on my screens, it distracts me a lot. I'm not too mature to handle distractions. I hope you understand. All right. Okay. So we what? Again, what? Cloud computing. Let's look at what? For example, if you are going to focus on AWS, you have what? You have the A what? AWS what? CLI. Okay. AWS command line interface. So when you pick up a career in cloud, or you want to learn to become a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer and all of that, right? Be it AWS, Azure, or GCP, they all have what? They all have their CLI. Now we refer to those CLI or the CLI as what we refer to as programmatic access, right? So that means that you can create resources, you can manage resources in the cloud using what? Using your back end, like, doing everything from the command line interface. So we have that. Now, again, we also have what? We also have the G Cloud for what? For Google, or referred to as what? As GCP. What does GCP stand for? It stands for what? Google what? Google Cloud Platform. Okay, this everything you're going to learn. Very, very important. Okay, and then of course we have Azure. Okay, we have what? The Azure CLI. Okay, Azure what? Azure CLI use what? Use again everything from the back end. So it is very, very, very important for you to understand. So again, what's up? What is the first thing that we are learning this morning? There are two types of interfaces. We have what? The graphical user interface, and of course, what? We have CLI, which stands for command line interface. Now, let's talk about okay, operating systems, operating what? And what? And CLIs, okay? And CLIs. Now, okay, or interfaces, all right? Windows, okay? If you look at your Windows system, what do we have on Windows? Okay, a CLI. How many know about PowerShell? Right, we have what? So we have PowerShell, right? We have Windows PowerShell, right? Windows what? Windows, okay? Oh, 1 second. Yeah, Windows what? Windows PowerShell. Now, if you are a Windows user just like me, if you have a Windows computer, right? You should have your Windows PowerShell. How many of you know Windows PowerShell on your system? Can you just type one? If you have used Windows PowerShell in one way or the other, can you type one? Type one in the chat. Let me know that we are together, okay? Perfect. Thank you so much, Ayo Dave. Okay, type two, Josh Omololu. Thank you so much and welcome. Who else? Windows PowerShell. If you have used or you know about Windows PowerShell, just type one. Okay. Thank you so much. Black hack, white. What's that again? I like that demo. White what? Okay. Someone said I am a. That's a good one. Okay. What's that name? Okay, white hacker. I like that because in ethical hacking, there are what? There are three categories of what? Of hackers, right? So you have, black hackers, you have gray hackers, and you have white hackers. White hackers are also known as what? Are also known as ethical hackers. So these are like police officers or mechanics who know, who are trained on vehicle security, right? So they know how to explore the vulnerabilities on a car, not to steal the car, not to, not for their own advantage, but what? But to further secure the car. See that? And of course, it's all what? That's what ethical hacking is all about. Okay, so on Windows, we have what? We have Windows PowerShell, and again, what? They command what? Command Windows command prompt, okay? Command prompt. See that? Many of you haven't, or many of you have not used these tools yet, but on your system, and again, what? So this is where your basic foundation starts, right? Being what? Being able to understand even the system, the computer, or the laptop that you have at the moment, right? So of course, what now on my Windows, I can what? I can work on my Windows using what? Using both the graphical user interface or what? Or the command line interface. So on Windows, we have what? We have PowerShell, and of course, what? We have command prompt. Now on Windows, we can what? We can again what? We can further what? Further install what? Other what? Other user-friendly, okay, open source, okay, command what? Command lines or shells. Like what? So we can what? We can install Git Bash. And of course, what? All of us are going to install Git Bash because I find it to be very, very user-friendly. So of course, what? We'll do it in this class live. So when you are going home, you say, "No, what? Oh yeah, I joined this place today. I was able to what? I was able to install one thing, right? That thing." So we are all what? We are all going to install Git Bash on Windows. Okay, so let's just take it once at a time. So of course, what? We know Git Bash. Okay, and again, tech what? Tech has become so easy. You don't need to cram things a lot. You don't need to cram anything. Okay, because it wouldn't help you. Look at what? Git Bash for Windows, okay? Git what? Git batch downloads here, okay, for Windows. Let's go for Windows. By the way, my recommendation, except that you are already a tech person, right? If you are a beginner looking to break into tech, please, if you want to buy a system, go for Windows. Windows is super, super user friendly. Okay? So, look at what? Look at this. So, we are going to install this. Okay? And of course, you can what? You have different installers for different operating systems. Okay? See for Windows here. So, of course, what? This is also a command line interface tool that we can install on our Windows and use it to, practice Linux commands on the go. And it's super, super very easy to install. One click. So where it says click to install, I'm just going to what? Copy this link and I'm going to put in the chat. Okay. I want to see those who can follow alongside with me because again, what? It's a hands-on class and I want all of you to follow along. Okay. So if you click on that link, it should what? It should automatically download for you the installer for Git Bash. So what? Let's all install Git Bash because I don't want us to go with Windows prompt, PowerShell for now, or to go with command prompt because what? Those are advanced, not beginner friendly. Yes, those are not beginner friendly. You must know what you're doing before you can even use the Windows PowerShell stuff, right? Mostly for Windows systems. But what? We're talking about Linux at the moment, so let's what? Let's stick to Git Bash. Okay? Let's do that. Let me know, please, if you do. Let me know when you download it. So, of course, what? If you download it, click here, okay, you can see it's going to what? Automatically route onto your download folder, just like mine is installing. So of course, what now in this class today, we are going to install Git Bash. Okay, great. I hope so. Of course, also now you've learned two things. Okay, so you learned the interfaces, and now what? We are going to learn how to install Git Bash. So by the way, if you've already enrolled for our upcoming batch, okay, installing Git Bash now is going to help you a lot. Okay, and our next training is starting June 6th, right? And so, yeah, just in case you are already liking it and you want to be part of it, right? Get in touch, okay? So, we all install Git Bash. So normally, right, again, this is just general knowledge. So whenever you install anything on your Windows computer, okay, by default, it routes to your download folder. I hope you know that, right? Download folder. So of course, let me just put this in the chat as well so that you can get it here. Are we recording? Yep. So after this session, I'm going to upload the video just in case you want to watch, and be able to practice. Okay. But what? This is a very, very, very essential skill. I remember the first time I began working as a DevOps engineer, and I had to download Git Bash at work, and all of that. Super, super important skill. Okay. So now if I go into my download folder, see that I'm going to what? I am going to see that. So what? So this is the installation. Now there are two ways. Okay. There are two things I'll let you know now. Okay. I hope you know that on your Windows system, you can only install if you are an administrator, right? So on every operating system, be it Linux, okay, be it Windows or be it Mac OS, there are two categories of users, okay? Just like, okay, let me not go that far. So there are two categories of users. You have, okay, you have admin, and then what? You have regular users. Just like in your work environment where you work at the moment, right? You have what? Maybe you have senior management, and you have management. And maybe even in your team where you work, right? Or whom you work with, okay, you have what? You have supervisor and what? You have a regular employee. Now, in that team environment, permission is managed differently, right? Your what? Your supervisor has, what we refer to as elevated, okay, permissions. Okay. For example, they can write a report, they can call you in and do an evaluation. Why? Because what? Because they are empowered to do that. So the same thing, right? So we refer to that process in DevOps, cybersecurity, and cloud as well as user administration. Okay. In cybersecurity, we refer to that same process as what? As identity and access management. And that's where you hear about two terms, authentication and authorization. Don't worry, let me not get you guys too far. But authentication and authorization are two very, very important concepts that cut across technology. Okay, almost all tech fields, the trending tech fields today, right? You have authentication and authorization. So you can be authenticated to enter a kitchen, but what? You are not authorized to cook. What's the difference? Right? Just be thinking about, okay, we'll come to that. So now, when you download anything on your system and you want to execute this, right? You can what? I can either double click or I can, first of all, I can do a right click, then what? I can what? Run as administrator. This is the best approach, right? So you download, then of course what? You run as administrator. So when you click on that, that is a command. You will see, ask, do you want to install this app to make changes to your device, Git for Windows, verified publisher, Johannes Schindelin, hard drive. Okay. I can what? Say yes. So now you're going to see, okay, the what? The installer is going to start. See that? This is what? This is my Git installer. Very, very easy application to install. Straightforward, no biggie bash. Okay, let's go ahead. So of course, what now you can see, because I have a previous version, this installer is going to first of all what? Uninstall the previous version, then what? And then install a new version. For most of you, you won't have to go through that step. You just what? Double click and it is going to download for you. Okay, like that. So this is going to download for you. And you can see that. Do you see that? So of course now you see that what that now. This is what. So this is installing, and I'm going to show you what very simple commands today that you can start learning Linux, from a beginner level, right? So my goal today is what is to instill confidence in you, right? And yeah, because there's so many of you here today who have never learned about command line interface. So my goal is not to scare you, but to inspire you to, dream big. Okay? So this same career that changed my life, can also change yours. Okay, great. See that? So of course you can see the files are extracting. Okay, just taking a while. So you can see, right? So it's coming along. Mm. Don't know why WhatsApp is trying to mess up with me today. I joined late. Could the webinar be shared? Of course. Do you mean like the video for the webinar be shared? Yes. Yes, of course. Yes, 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 for sure. Okay. That's going to be shared. Absolutely. Oh, what is Git used for? Very, very, very important. I like that question. So don't worry, okay? We are what? So the Git what? Git is an installed command line interface tool that we can use to what? To practice Linux commands. Okay? That's the first thing that we're going to do. So we're going to what? We are going to see how what? How we are going to use Git to what, to create files on our Windows system, delete files, run what? Basic Linux commands, okay? At this level. So Git is a software. So in this webinar, one of the things that I want you to go home with, of course, what is being able to say, oh, no, what? Yep, these 2 hours I spent here, I was what? I was able to, yeah, I think you're going too far. You're going too far. C6717. Okay, you're going too far. Let Prof guide you, okay? Let Prof guide. Okay, that's one. Let's just focus on Git for now, okay? Focus on Git for now. For now, let's not mix it because GitHub is a different thing. GitHub is a platform, right? That hosts source code. We can also use Git batch because what? So what we are installing now is Git batch. Git batch is a technology, it's a tool, it's a software. Git is a distributed version control system. GitHub is a hub. It's a web hosted platform where software developers host their project. So there are three things here that, okay, we should talk about, okay? So what we just installed now is Git Bash. Okay, you see that? This is what? Git Bash. Don't mistake it for anything. We can also use Git Bash to practice Git, okay? So it's Git, not JIT. I've heard some of my students call it JIT. Oh, sir, my GitHub is this, or my GitHub is that. No, it's not JIT. Okay, it's Git. So now let's take it up. Okay, take it up, take it up, take it up. So of course, what we want to launch Git Bash, forget about view release, and of course, what we click that. So now we have my Git batch. So my Git batch is now installed. Let me add note. So this is the way we teach at LionTech, right? What we make sure we add notes of everything. So of course, what? So now we have what? So now we have what? We have installed installation. We what? We installed Git and what? And Git batch all together. Git is a different thing. Okay, Git is a tool that is used for distributed versions control. We'll talk about that. Okay, if you are opportune to enroll in a program, of course, you learn what? You learn about Git For now, let's start with this. So, see that this is what. So this is my Git batch. Oh, where is that? Where is the opening? One second, one second, one second. Looks like it's opening somewhere. Okay, there you go. This is what. So this is my Git badge. Okay. So for many of you, right, your what? Your Git is going to open up like this. So mine just have a very funny title, but what? See that? This is your Git. Okay. So of course what? This is what we refer to as a command line interface. And so this is the place where you want to start, okay, in terms of skills, in terms of building your confidence level, in terms of building skills. Because at the end of the day, what employers are hunting for is skills. What can you do? What do you know? And all of that, right? So this is the foundation of anybody who is very new, novice, like many of you I saw on the forums, right? Very new persons want to get into tech. This is where we start, okay? By what? By learning, Linux commands, okay? So first what? Now what? We have been able to install our first command line interface tool, okay? This is called Git. So now we what? We know about this. Okay. So with Git as a technology, Git badge is what? So Git badge, Git what? Git badge will act as what? Will act as what? As a command line tool for what? For Windows for now, okay? So of course, this is what? So this is a custom because what? All installed, okay? Command what? Command line tool. Very, very, very important, okay? So now we have installed a command line tool. The next thing now is, oh, prof, okay, now I have this tool. How do I work on this tool, right? Because that is my CLI. If I am working on my GUI, so we began by what? By distinguishing between what? GUI and CLI. So GUI is graphical user interface, right? This file, for example, I can what? Everything manually. I can create files. I can delete files. Everything that is what? These are all the actions that I can do. But of course, what? All of these is what? Is done using the mouse. Done what? Manually, right? But we can do the exact same thing using what? Using what we refer to as commands. So in other words, in order for us to use commands, right, we have to learn commands. Okay. By the way, let's break this down grammatically. What is a command? So if I say stand up, what's the command there? What's the command in the statement? Stand up. What's the command? What's the command there? This one. So let's break this down to make sure that everybody's understanding. So if I say stand up, what's the command? No. Oyisufu, up is not the command, right? Stand is the action that you are going to see, right? That is a command. If you work in the military, okay, then what? Everybody understands what? There's something called the chain of commands, right? Yeah. Commands, rules in military. You must what? You must obey commands. You must respect commands. You must respect the command chain, or the command systems. Okay, within the military. So stand is a command, just like what? Just like if you look at this file, see that I can what? I can pass commands to this file. I can open an action. Okay, I can rename. I can delete. and what? I can cut. So now, on every operating systems, there are two types of files, okay? We have directories and we have files, okay? Every system, every application, everything is all what? All about files. Okay, let me show you something even more exciting, right? So if you look at this website, okay, the LionTech Academy website. See this website here? This what? These are all files. Let me just show you. These are what? These are all files, right? If you go to the back end of this, which I can show you, right, it's all what? It's all files. Files and folders. So everything you see here, what, is found in one folder. Then you have files, okay? That's what. So everything you see, like picture is a file, right? Everything is a file. So in this case, if I want to change anything here, I can what? I can go back to the filing system, the files. Behind the scenes, I go back to files. Always go back to files, okay? Very, very important. Okay, so now let's what? Let's talk about Linux commands. So what are commands? Okay, so that commands, right? Commands. Oh, by the way, right? So I was talking about Windows. Now, okay, on Mac OS, we have what? We have the Mac what? Mac terminal, okay? Mac terminal. If you're a Mac user, and of course, what? On Linux system, we have what? We have the command lines, okay? So if you are ever going to work on Linux systems, you must what? You must learn commands, okay? That's it. Most Linux servers don't have CLIs, most of them. You know that when you go to a store to buy a computer, you're just buying a frame, right? So you can walk into any store of your choice, you buy what? A laptop, and then what? You can choose to install whatever operating system that you want to install on that piece of metal, right? I hope you know that. So when you go to buy from the store is what? Is the hardware. Everything you install on that is what? Is referred to as software, right? That's where you can what? With one command, you can what? You can upgrade your operating system. Why? Because it is a software. But with one command, you cannot upgrade your memory, right? Because what? Your memory, be it, the modern ones that we have today, or your SSD, or your HHD, or your HDD, or your SSD, these are what? These are hardwares, right? So let's say, for example, you buy a computer and the hardware capacity or the hard drive capacity is, let's assume that, okay, yep, it's 500 gigabyte, right? And now you want to what? You want to expand it to 2 terabytes or 4 terabyte, right? That cannot be done through, a click or an upgrade, right? You must what? You must go see a hardware technician, somebody who knows how to, dismantle the system, open what the system and what, and install the new drive. That is hardware. So your computer is what? It's made up of hardwares and softwares. Very, very important to understand. Softwares are programs written to achieve specific tasks or to meet specific objectives, right? So, for example, if you have a software, if you look at my screen, for example, how many softwares do you see there? You see what? You can see there is VS Code, Sublime Text, there is Chrome, there is Synapse Tool. You see, like all types of icons That represents different softwares. These are very different. I can uninstall them with a click. I can install them with what? With a click. So different. There are three major operating systems in the market. You can when you walk to start to buy a computer, you can what? You can buy a Mac, a Linux, or a Windows. Okay, so that's very, very important. Most of us know Mac and know Windows. We don't know Linux yet. Therefore, what? Let's talk about what is Linux and why should you learn Linux? Why should you care about Linux? That's what. Do what? An intro to what? To Linux what? Operating systems and commands. Okay. Now, for anyone wanting to scale into tech or to get into tech, you must what? Linux is one of the systems that you want to learn. Because what? Because why learn Linux? One is that what? Is that 80% of what? Of the world's largest applications and systems does what? Runs on Linux. Okay? Okay. Somebody's asking a question. I think this should be an intermediate, individual who have been doing a lot of research. What is the difference between GitHub and GitLab? Okay. Let me break it down to make you understand. It's just like asking me what is the difference between MTN and Orange. Okay. I don't know if you guys have Orange. Do you guys have Orange in Nigeria? Just asking for my Nigerian friends and potential students who are here tonight. Do you have Orange? Do you have okay, that's what. MTN and ITEL. Do you guys have ITEL? Or Glow? Okay, MTN and what? And Glow. Okay, let's talk banking instead. UBA and UBA what? So UBA and so what is the difference between the UBA bank and Echo Bank? What's the difference, right? Do I now answer your question? Gimelo? So these are what? These are first of all one. Now GitHub and GitLab. One, they are one. They are competitors. That's the first thing. They are what? They are both platforms. Okay. So a company can choose to host its codes on GitHub or what? Can choose to host on GitLab. Now, what is the difference? GitLab is built, is what is more enterprise friendly. That's why if you sign up for GitLab, they what? They only give you 1 month free trial, right? Okay. On cybersecurity. Okay, don't worry. Okay. That's okay. So you should what? Then in that case, you should book your orientation, okay? Book your orientation so that we can talk about that. Okay. So now they are what? They are the same thing, but what? Built differently. GitHub is what? Is more user friendly. Anybody can sign up for free and what? And stay on it for free, except they choose to upgrade to enterprise. And of course, what? That's when they start paying. GitLab, you and I can also just sign up on GitLab, right? If I sign up, or if you sign up, what? You are going to have 1 month free trial. And thereafter, you what? You will need to upgrade your account and pay. So GitLab is what? Is built for enterprise, while what? GitHub is what? Is built for developers. Okay. And also for enterprise. That is the difference based on my experience, how I've seen different companies use it, and how we also use it at work. So now let's come back here. I'm finding it hard to understand some topics on cybersecurity. Are you enrolled in a cybersecurity program somewhere else? Or you want to enroll in LionTech? Okay, let's talk about that at the end. Okay. At the end, we'll talk about that. Okay, so now, okay, so you are enrolled somewhere else. So what topics are you struggling to understand? So of course, what 80% of the world's largest applications and systems and what runs on Linux system. Okay. Okay, by the way, right, let's what I'm just going to stick to what we came here for today. Maybe towards the end of the class, I can answer all those other questions because I don't want to confuse those who are very new here today. Because when they keep hearing Linux and hearing Git and hearing that, then I can confuse their thought process. They are still trying to understand. And those are the ones that I am more concerned about, right? I'm happy to answer all these questions. Okay, we'll talk about that. Don't worry, people are asking a lot of advanced questions. It means that, I'm addressing the right people. So 81% of the world's largest applications like Facebook, Amazon, okay, Netflix, they all run on Linux, okay? Even our cell phones, even our mobile phones, phones are built on Are built on Linux. I hope you know that your phone is a small Linux operating system. Yeah. That's why, if you go to Play Store, you can download Terminal for your phone, for Android or for Apple. And of course, you can you can operate your phone using using the command line interface. Okay, very very important. So of course, we have that. Then Linux uses the CLI and commands to manage to manage see that files, okay, users, groups, and and systems on Linux, okay? So every operating system is It's made up of files, okay, users, groups, and and other systems. Or what we call Yep. Manage security. Very, very, very important. See that? So of course Linux is also Linux is a multi-user operating system. So this means that we can have This means you can have we can have We can have 200 users, okay, actively actively logged in and and working on on the Linux server. See that? So this is Linux is built for enterprise, just like Windows. I will know that there's a difference between Windows and Windows Server, right? What most companies use is the Windows Server, and of course the Windows Server also is built to to achieve multi-user operations, okay, on the system. Very, very important for you to understand. So now, on every operating system, be it, Linux, Windows, or Mac, these are these are the four major categories that everybody must know how to manage. You have files. When you have files, Of course, files will include, folders. Now, in Linux, we refer to folders as As directories, right? Directories. Of course, we also have files with With different extensions. I hope you know that, right? So files With different extensions. So you're going to You will learn about Some examples of Of file extensions. Because We use on a daily basis. What are some examples of file extensions? Let's list them. One, File extensions. Oh yeah, about files. What comes to your mind? Oh, let's talk about file extensions. What are some file extensions that you know, or that you have used, or that you have used just recently? We have XL, right? E. Is that so? Is that Excel? Yeah, we have Excel. Okay, we have what? .md for Markdown. And we have what? .txt, isn't it? Okay, I see. Victor is going too far. Let's start from where everybody can understand. JPEG, right? Dot what? Dot JPG. JPG, right? JPG. JPEG. Dot what? Dot PNG, right? PNG. Dot PDF. Isn't it? PDF. We have what now? Dot py, Simon, I'm go again. We are going too far. Let's what? Let's use the one that most. Yeah. Dot what? Dot docs. Thank you so much. Dot what? Dot docs. These are what? These are file extensions. Again, we have what? One more. See that? So we're talking about files. I'm dot what? Dot MP4, right? MP4. Okay. Dot MP3, isn't it? MP3. PNG. So these are only about files. Everything on your system is a file, but what? With a different file extension. Okay. So MP4 and MP3 is what? Music, right? These are what? These are videos. Okay. Videos. So a video on your system is a file, and that's why they what? Videos can be tendered in court as what? As exhibits. I hope you know that. Okay. Those are files. Okay. So if you have a CCTV camera, right? What do you get? The what? The file from the camera is what? Is in that format, right? It's an MPV MP4, okay, format. These are what? Audios, okay? Most what? So most MP3s, okay, like that. It's not a Microsoft document, PDF was document, picture, JPEG, okay, that's what JPEG, picture, PNG, again what? Pictures. These are all what? File extensions. So now all these files can what? Can be put in a folder. Make sense? Is it clear? So now, what is the difference between what? A file and a folder? Who wants to answer? File and what? And folder. What's the difference? So what is the what? The difference between what? Between file and what? And folder. What is the difference between file and folder? What is the difference between file and folder? What is the difference between what? Between file and folder. So what is the difference? Okay, I'm waiting for the answer. What is the difference between file and folder? Yeah. What's the difference between file and folder? Okay, thank you so much. So file one is a single unit. Okay, so file is a single unit. Okay, file is a folder. What a folder is what? It consists of one or more files. Why what? If a file is what? It's a single unit, and of course what? It can take multiple. Okay, multiple what? multiple extensions. Okay, very, very, very important. So a file can take multiple, okay, extensions. All right. So that's what that's what you see. What so first what now? Let's talk about okay, like what you see here. Okay, tell me, current students, is this a file or a folder? Let me what? I think I can do this here. See that? This one. Okay. File is what? So this is what? Type is what? This is a document, which is a file. Come here. Again, what? You see this property here? This what? So that is a file. See that? This is what? So this is the type is what? Is Microsoft Excel worksheet. File size, file location, date modified, content type, date access, okay? All of that. May 10th, is this a folder or a file? Is that a folder or a file? Okay, of course, what? Okay, so downloads. Is downloads a folder or a file? I like the answers. Thank you so much, everybody. That's a folder. How about pictures? Is it a folder or a file? Music, folder or file? See that? Oh no. Picture is not a file, okay? It's a folder. See that? We can add what? You can add several pictures here. So picture is not a file, it is a folder, right? I can do what? I can add more folders here. I can add Word documents here. I can add TXT document text. I can add see that. So I'm doing so I can do what? I can carry out multi operations on this particular folder. I can do a lot more than that, okay? Okay, so please, if you are in this webinar, at the moment, just what? Just click on this WhatsApp group and what so that we can be able to follow up with you. Click what? On this WhatsApp group and what? And join, those who actually attended this webinar today, what? You can join this other group so that we can follow up with you directly from there, okay? That's the WhatsApp group in the chat. Just what? Click there and join, okay? Thank you so much. Just click and join. Perfect, okay? So we can what? We can know those who were in this, in the webinar today, and we can focus only with those of you who joined the webinar so that we don't go chasing everybody, okay? So now, so of course what? That's what? So this is a folder. These are what? So this folder's what? This one came with the operating system, right? All the laptop you buy, it counts what? With these folders. Desktop, download, okay? And of course, what? Desktop, you have download, you have pictures, and you have what? You have music. And you can see all these other ones are what? Are the ones that we have created, okay? Now, of course, what? All of these, most of them were what? Were done using, the graphical user interface. So what we want to do now is how do we, for example, create files using what? Using what? Command line interface. Let's go to next document. Okay, this one becomes very interesting. Let's looking at what? Working with files and what? And directories using what? Using the CLI. And again, CLI is what? Is equals to command what? Command line what? Command line interface, okay? So of course, this is what you want to learn at the moment, okay? Command line interface. What is this all about? So of course, what? On the command line interface, we use commands, okay? Command line interface what? We use commands to operate. So I want to show you a very quick example, for example, right? What we can do with commands. So for example, right? Okay, great. So now let's what? Let me add a table here so we can be able to understand this very, very well. We do commands. okay, example, and what? And description, okay? So of course, what? We'll start today by what? Learning a few commands that we can quickly use, okay, on our operating system, right? Right. So again, we are what? We are going to be typing our commands right here, okay? Typing our commands right there, okay? So therefore, what? This is what? This is our command line interface. See that? It's a very nice blank screen. If I give you the screen, like, oh, sir, what am I supposed to do on this screen? Now, what if I want to list all the content of my computer? See that? So I have what? Two options, right? I want to list. I can come here and what? I just go to, come to my C drive. And of course, what? I can see everything that is on my computer, right? Or come to my home directory, right? I can see everything. So the same way you have home on the graphical user interface, we also have what? We also have home on the CLI, okay? We have what? So we also have home on the CLI, okay? So now, let's say what? We want to run our what? Very first command, right? We type what? We type command A is going to what? List. List is going to what? It's just list. But what? This what? List contents, okay? Contents in a folder, okay? In a folder, we have what? The first command is ls, list. Now, there's one thing you need to understand about what? About commands are what? Is that commands are what? Commands are space and what? And space sensitive. My spelling is correct, sure. See that? Sensitive. Okay? So if I run this command, I'll have what? I will have an error that says command not found. And that is because, okay, truly speaking, that command not found because Linux or your system doesn't know anything. That's what? That is referred to as, command with capital L and capital S, right? That's not happening. Okay. So therefore, this what? This command should what? Should be in lowercase. See, if we come back here and we type what? See that capital L and what? Small s, we have what? We get an error. Okay. For some reason, what? It listed. Anyways, on most commands, this what? This is going to give you an error. Okay. So for git bash, just like git bash have an exception for this. But on normal operating systems, Linux is going to what? Give you an error. So for Windows, it's an exception. Okay. But please what? Note this one is this one. So this is the command ls. Now, if we type ls here, see we have what? ls here? List, right? And you can see we have all, see that this is what? Everything on my system, okay? So we have what? We have contacts, desktop, documents, download, and what? And music, my documents. See that? All of this. These are what? These are all the contents of my system. Now, in my download folder, I have different stuff there, right? In my documents, I have different stuff. My desktop, I have what? Different documents and other folders and other stuff. So this is so important for you to understand. Right? Just give me 1 second. I want to give somebody an instruction here. Let me look at one of my admins here, Cynthia. Okay, so Expo Ads is running. Okay. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. So now we have what? So when we list, we are able to list directories and also what? And also files. So let me ask now, Let's what? Let's see. Let me see. Can someone point? So when you look at this file, for example, is this a file or is it a directory? This one, index.html. Is that a file or directory? See that? That's what? That is a file. Thank you so much, Cypher. How about this one? Demo 123 or 113, demo 13. Is that a file or directory? It's a directory. And see that? So of course what? See, so all of this now, see, okay, this is what? Okay, this is log. Let me see if I have any JPEG here. Okay, we have index of HTML. So now we are, so now of course what? See, I'm able to list here, right? Now, what if I want us to what? I want us to go into our music folder, right? That's what. Let's access the music folder. The what? The command is going to be CD. See that? So now we are going to access the music folder. Okay? CD command. It stands for what? It stands for change directory. Okay? Change what? Change directory. So we can what? We can do one example. We can do what? CD what? CD into music. This means that we are what? So we are accessing, or in other words, we are entering the music folder. That's what that means, right? So you have, okay, ls. By the way, we can also run what? ls hyphen what? lt and what? ls what? Hyphen ltr. Okay, we'll come back to the, but these are extension of the listing commands. If I want to list with more details, see that? Come back here. Now, how about now I run what? Oh, by the way, how many persons are following up with me? Like, how many persons are also following up, like doing the exact thing I'm doing? If you are, just type one so I can know that, okay, I have people who are following up with me. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, I tell. Great, okay. So now we have what? So we have this, right? So we have that, and of course, what? Here again, we can run what? ls what? Hyphen l. See that it works. So now this what? ls lists everything with what? No type of, like no details about what is listing. But what? ls hyphen l is what you are going to come to learn as what? As long list. Now look at this here. It what? Now it what? This gives you even what? Even, like what? More details about your files. When the files were created, right? The owners of the file, the size of the file, the year it was created. Okay, see, I have what? I have files here as what? As old as 2025. And now you see what? You can see some other ones for what? See that? This is what? Everything I have here, is well coordinated. Somehow it is coordinated. See that? Very, very, very important for us to understand. See that? So now what? ls-l gives you what? First one, okay. When you enroll in a program, you what? You learn about what we call file security. Okay. We will not go into the details for today because what? This is very detailed. Okay. What does this mean? Read, write, execute. Of course, what? This is how we implement file security. It's a strong concept in cybersecurity. Right? Very, very strong concept in cybersecurity. I'm just going to share again the link to join, okay, the final onboarding group for those who are in this class. I see just 9 persons there just yet. I'm just going to share that again. Okay, let's see. How many persons are here already? Okay, so I see, right, yep, let me see. Oh, I see just 9. Why 9? Please, what? It's so important because what? We want people to follow up with you, okay, to offer you one-on-one orientation. Just what? Click on this link if you're thinking about, you know what, you want to learn more. Okay, just want to click on the link here and join the group so we can what? We can call you from there. we can follow up and take it off from there, okay? So now you have what? ls-l, you can see, okay? Look at all of this here, very, very important. And now you can what? You can see everything you have on your system, both what? Files and directory. Very, very important, right? So you what? Learning something very, very cool now. Again, what? We have ls-lt. Now see, if I run what? If I run ls-lt, this what? So lt, this should give me an error. Why is that? Because most command lines are space and case sensitive. Okay? Most command lines are what? Are both case and space sensitive. So see that? This is what? This gives me an error, command not found. How do I fix this? ls what? ls doesn't matter how much space you give, but what? It must go with this. LT. See that? So now you see we have what? It now what? It lists now, but of course what? It starts from the most recent, May 16. See that? So it is what? In the reverse order. LSL began what? Began with 2025. And also we have the most recent to the oldest. Then we have what? The oldest listings, the oldest files on your system to the newest ls-l. Okay? Space -l. And then ls space -lt leaves what? From the recent or the newest to the oldest. Make sense? Okay. So those two comes a lot in interview questions. When they want to test you about your basic Linux understanding, okay, on the Linux commands, they will bring up those questions for you to understand, right? So this is good. So now what? That is the ls command, okay? cd stands for change directory. See that? Change what? Change directory. What does change means? Let's start from there. Change means what? Change. What does change means? What is the grammatical meaning of change? So what is the grammatical meaning of change? So grammatically, when you say change, what do we mean? We switch position, right? You are changing position, isn't it? So now look at something here. So again, command line skills building, right? So if you look here, let me just do a control minus here, right? To kind of give you guys, okay, I think this is good. Now I have what? You can see I have a lot of folders and the path to the folders and all of that on my system. But you see, for example, let's say, okay, I want to what? I want to change directory to music. But first of all, let's what? Let's first of all find out where exactly are we. Okay? Very, very important. Yeah, what? Present working directory. Great. P what? PWD equals to what? PWD, just say PWD for you. Print what? Print working directory or what? Present what? Present working what? Working directory. See that? Very, very important. Present what? Present working directory. Okay? So we have print working directory or what? Or present working directory. Very, very important to understand. So now we want to find out where I am. Samsung, please, can you don't do that? Thank you. So we want what? Again, my what? All my commands are going to be in lowercase. What do I want to do here in this case? I want to what? So I want to run what? I want to run, PW to what? To tell me where exactly I am on my, just like for example, okay, let's say you are in your house now, right? Your computer is your house. Okay, now I can ask you, hey, James, what is your PWD? You say, oh, you know what? Okay, I am in my bedroom, right? That's what. That is your exact location. Oh no, I'm in the dining room. Oh no, right? I am in the kitchen or I'm in the toilet. Those are what? Those are your PWDs, right? So therefore, on what? PWD. See that? Now it says what? I am in the C drive users immigration. That's what. Let's go ahead and investigate this if it is correct. Okay? Great. Because I want you to understand that means that on my computer, I am what? Everything I am listing here belongs what? Belongs to the account of user equals immigration. Am I too fast? Too slow? Normal. One for too fast, two for normal, and three for too slow. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, two normal. Great. Thank you so much. Okay. So now, how do I confirm this? So let's what? Let's go to C drive. See that? Come here. And what? See that? This is what? So this is, see that? This is what? That's my C drive, right? I click there. Now we have what? We have users. And then we have what? See, these are what? These are all, okay, everybody on my account, on my computer. I have career, expo, immigration, choice, like here student, LionTech Academy, LionTech, LionTech admin, LionTech onboarding. These are what? These are all different users on my system. But now I am where? I am in the home account of the user called immigration. See that? This is everything you are seeing in this LS is everything I have here. Now let me ask you a question. What I just did now by what? Going to C drive, click, go to users, click, and click on immigration. And then running one command, PWD. Which one is faster? And which one is easier? The click, 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 or the command so far. The good thing with commands is that once you know the command what, you know it and you know it. Okay. It doesn't change it what? It remains exactly the same. Okay. The same. Doesn't change. Okay. So now, so we have proved, okay, why this is correct. See that print what? Your present working directory. Because when we change, I want what? I want you to notice the change. Again, what? We are going to confirm the change with what? With ls and pwd. Okay? So now what? We've learned three major commands, list, pwd, and want to what? Now I want to run what? The cd command. Again, what? What am I cding to? Change. So of course, what? When you say, oh, this person have changed, what do we mean? Maybe what? From what? From good to bad? From bad to good? Okay. From being a husband who used to give 500,000 naira for food allowance a week to now what? Now giving 5,000 naira. Oh, my husband has changed, right? Yes. My husband has changed. From what to what? From the Odogu of Naira to the who get no get. Okay? Like that. So now you can run what? CD, then what? See that? Music. Okay? But there's something I want you to understand. Now, whatever you are seeding into, that thing must exist. Okay? Please note that. Okay? You're what? You are changing direction to something. In fact, you are leaving one environment to the other. So that environment must exist. Okay? It must exist. So in this case, let's see what. See that this is what? This is where I want to go. I want to what? I want to access my music folder. Okay? My music folder. Very, very important. I want to access music folder. So of course what? I must type the file name exactly the way it exists. It what? And in this case, it starts with capital M. So now I'm going to run what? Come back here and I run CD, capital what? M. See that? Music. Please, I want you to pay attention. So now you see that I am now where? I am now in music, but again, I want to show you what has changed. So of course, what? Look at what? This is where I was, but now what? I am now in my music folder. So again, what? We can run what? ls-lt. See that? This is what? So this is everything in my music folder. See that? Great. 2025. So LT does what? It lists from the most recent to what? To the oldest. LT. ls-lt. So there's what? There's one thing you are learning already is what? Is listings and all of that. Okay? So now let's learn one last command because I don't want to get you guys into so much things today. But what? Can we make a directory into this in what? In the music folder. Let's do it, okay? I can do what? Make directory. Now I want to what? I want to create a folder in the music folder. Make sense? Make what? Directory. Make means to create something. And you cannot create what already exists, isn't it? True of us. You can't, right? You can't create something that already exists. You can only create something, that doesn't exist, right? So if you type make directory, let's call it what? Okay, today is May 16, right? May what? May 16, call it what? Linux what? Linux demo. Because you are going to what? So we are going to confirm this in what? In our music folder, right? See, I have two options, right? In the music folder. I can what? If you look at this folder, see that? So this is what? This is everything I have in my music folder. There's what? There is no May 16 there or anything like that, right? There's no May 16. So now I want to what? Add a folder called what? Called May 16, right? Now, see that? It's now what? It's being created now. So of course what? Let's go back here and let's look for it. Do we have search what? May what? May, okay now, May 16. Right, see that? Okay, is it accurate? That's what? My May 16 Linux folder. Now, I could also what? I could also create what? This folder directly from what? From here, right? Using what? Using my graphical user interface, I could create this from here, right? I could do this from here, okay? Straight on. Directly from here, I could do this, okay? I could do what? New folder, and I call this what? Demo what? Demo 16, May 16, like that. See that? That's what? That's the graphical user interface. But of course, now what? We are learning how this is done on what? Different operating what using commands. So what we are learning today, of course, what is Linux commands. Yeah. I'm so happy that I have 20 people in this webinar today. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying. That tells me that you guys want to learn and you are enjoying, okay, my small preaching. So now we have what? May 16. So the reason why I'm using Windows more is what? Is because I want all of you to what? To go home and be able to practice this, right? Because if I say, okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and install VMware, or let's install, this ISO image, right? Or install WSL. So what? Those are very, very advanced concepts that can confuse beginners, right? So download your Git bash, and of course, what? You can do a lot from Git bash alone without what? Without going into the deep of the deeps, the deep deeps, right? Without doing that. So this is so important, okay, for you to understand, right? So now we have what? We have that folder. See that? But what? There is nothing in this folder. The folder is empty. Okay, let's leave it the way it is. And what? Let's do one more CD. Okay, great. Now I can do again what? CD what? CD to May 16. Okay, Linux what? Demo. Okay, see that? Linux demo. Great. Now, guess what? Run again the PWD to confirm. PWD, where am I? You see that? Now, do you see the difference? Now, it simply says what? Okay, I am in my C drive. Okay. In this drive, which is of course a folder, there are so many folders there. But what? I am the users folder. In the users folder, I have different accounts. But what? I am signed in as immigration. In immigration, I am where? I am also working in the music folder. In the music folder, we have what? We have this new folder called what? May 16 Linux demo. So in this case, okay, there's also one command, very, very easy command. It's called what? It's called clear. See that? It just create more rooms on your system so you can type more commands. See that? Now, of course, if I run ls-lt, oh, you know what? I think I need to get people off my screen. Why are they annotating on my screen? How do I do that? Wait. I'm not seeing the option to transcribe in my notes. Is that the option that I need to turn off? Uh, okay, no problem now. Next time I will take my time and I'll find out what this. Because please, can we be adults? Okay, let's be adult. Okay, let's stop doing this because what? It caused a lot of distraction. Okay, a lot of what? Distraction like that. So now I am where? I am now in May 16 Linux demo. And of course, what? ls-lt, there is nothing in it. Just like what? Just like we see see that right there. So the reason why I'm going back and forth is because I want to let you know that, okay, there's nothing we are doing that is abstract. All the commands means what they say. List means what? You want to list. You want to find out. Hey, okay, I can say, oh, come on. Can you list all the items in that cupboard? It means what? You have to count the items and tell me, yeah. Of course, what? In the cupboard, we have this number of plates, spoons, okay, cups, and so on and so forth, okay? But you can see in this case, we have what? List like that, and you can see that is just the way it is, okay? Like that, okay? So now what? We can again what? Make electrical what? Linux what? Linux demo. See that? ls what? -lt. And you can see now again what? We have one. So now if I go back here, I have what here? See that? Now I have little, and of course what? That is a folder. So again, what? We are going to end here for today with what? To continue with our webinar next week on what? On Linux. Therefore, this one. This is what? Make directory here is what? You want to what? Create what? Do what? Make directory here demo. And this what? So this create a directory, okay, called what? Called demo, right? Like that. So again, Linux what? Commands are case sensitive. So we have this, okay? Like that. So now, again, what? Oh, I also what? Spoke about the clear command. Clear what? It just clear. And this what? So this cleans your screen, okay? Like that. So today what? We've introduced these 4 commands. We have a long way to go actually, but Rome was not built in a day, so somebody said what? Whenever there is a okay, but of course what now? So again what? We have learned these commands, but most importantly what? We are able to verify what we are doing. So we have 2 options. Either what? You can either create manually or you can do that. But for Linux operating system, this option is not available. You must what? You must do everything with the command line. So let me do one more call. So again, what, please make sure that you join this so we can call you to offer you orientation and discuss if you want to enroll in our program. So then what? Let me now talk about, okay, where this is actually covered. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen again and I'm going to show you, okay, how this fits into what? Into the program. LionTech Academy. Academy. Oh, okay. There you go. So it goes back to programs, and you can see that. So of course, what? Okay, there we go, right? So this is the program that we are encouraging everyone to enroll into because what? It is very, very detailed. You can see month what? Month one is Linux. So what we just began looking at now is what? It's all about Linux, but it has a long way to go, right? You have Linux operating system, command line what? Navigation, okay? So what we just did today is what we refer to as command line navigation. There's what there's the file systems. This is what user and groups here, networking fundamentals. So next week I'm going to what I'll take this further into actually what allowing us to work on a real Linux system, but that's going to be somehow very very advanced. So what I'll do is that I would see how I can create some servers in the course of the week, and of course what when we come next week we can all log into the lab server and be able to run these commands and be able to feel what it means to really work on that. So this is a 9 months program that covers everything and gets you prepared for what? For this career opportunity. So you can work as a cloud infra engineer, DevOps engineer, SRE, cloud support platform, Kubernetes, a lot, okay? I also share this other site so that you can see everything. And of course, these are all the students that have gone through our program. Just very few of them who have allowed also share their testimonies, but a lot of testimonials coming in, all of that. So of course, look at what the program outline here covers what. So this program covers both cloud, Dell and cybersecurity all in 9 months. Okay. And of course, if you don't want to go that long, you can You can enroll in in our short programs, okay? Short courses here. But of course, I think that makes sense for us to give you a call to be able to look at you carefully and say, oh, you know what? Yep, we think you can go for this instead or that instead, and trying to understand exactly the kind of learner that you are, how we should better orientate and mentor you and all of that, right? So for that, because we don't take any kind of forms here, for that to happen, okay, just want to what? You just need to join this group, okay? If you are really thinking about career transition, you want to what? You want to join this group. Okay, so we have 3 more minutes. Okay, join the group, and of course, what our admission advisors are going to call everybody in this group. Okay, to kind of discuss, how we can help you with your career, and of course, what to find out from you, yeah, of course. These are all commands, right? Echo. Okay. Like we still have a long way to go with Linux, to be honest with you. It's just the tip of an iceberg. There is a lot. But again, not just learning it in isolation, but being able to understand what commands are. So what we are doing today, of course, is that we have introduced, okay, Linux commands. Okay, we look at those 4 commands, ls command. Okay, and of course, some ls options. There are still a lot of ls options that we didn't look at. Okay, I think next we're going to go very deep into that. Okay, so we have that, and then we have, okay. Oh, oh, you like this? Okay. Next one is what? Same time next week. Okay. Same time what? Same time next week. Okay. We're going to what? So we're going to do this what? Same time next week. That's going to be what? May what? May 23rd. Okay. We're going to have one more. Okay. May 23rd. We're going to have one more. Okay. One more like that. Okay. Great. So yeah, I think it's been a good one. I want to thank you all. Please make sure that you join the group for us to for us to be able to mentor you. You see, like the main group had what? The main group have 100 and something, but what? Only, though we had up to 30, of course, what? Those are the ones that we want to be able to go after and say, yeah, you know what? Thank you for joining the webinar. Let's now hear from you. What do you think about the program? You want to enroll and what? We look at all the options and how we can help you, right? Like that. So that's very, very important. That's why we're saying that, you join the WhatsApp, that, we can what? We can narrow down our focus. So now we don't have to go focus on everybody in the WhatsApp group. We want to focus only on those who were in the webinar, because now what? Now at least you have been able to encounter us. You know the future, right? You know where you want to go, and there's just a long way to go in all of this. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. And I hope that you enjoyed the webinar. And yeah, so my advisors are going to be in touch with you, to find out what you think and all of that. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Thank you so much, everyone. And God bless you all. Let me see. Oh, wow. Let me see how many we have here. Okay. So we have 15. Not bad. Okay. We have 15. So this is good. So, of course, what? We're going to be in touch with you. We'll give you a call to discuss this further. Okay. Thank you so much. White Hacker, Victor Store, Tope, 10H, and Ogwa, Kugu, Michael. Yep, great. Okay. Excellent. So let's take it from there. And thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye, and God bless you all. And hopefully I'll see you all again next week. Right, like that, like that. Thank you. And have yourself a wonderful weekend. God bless you and keep you. So let's keep the chat in in this confirm WhatsApp group. And yeah, so once the videos process, I will load it on the YouTube, then I'm going to share the link. Okay, yeah, like that. Or maybe I can do Telegram. I will see what we can do. Okay, but for sure, thank you so much, everybody, and have yourself, a very, 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 very good night.
You are very welcome. It sounds like a solid plan for sharing your content. Have a great day.
That's Gemini confirming what I'm saying. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, and have yourself a great day. And I'll see you all. Talk to you soon. I'll be calling everybody. Talk to you soon. Okay, we'll take it from there. Thank you. God bless you. And bye bye.